And coming to you live, welcome back everybody to another edition of Copa Hyperion number 40. Welcome everyone to your weekly edition of Latin American StarCraft. And oh my god, a lot's been happening. There's so much that I have to update with you. A lot has happened over the past couple of days. But first, it's great to be back here with some Latin American StarCraft. I have to direct everyone's attention quickly to the bracket because for the first time in months, actually months, Cham has signed up for Copa Hyperion. It's been so long. Cham has had a bit of an off season. He was taking a break, but now he is back in full force. So I'm excited. El Chamaco has returned. Oh my god. And as we get into this, exclamation mark Funara Cristiano in the chat. Cristiano, he signed up, he checked in. The reason why the stream started so late was because we were originally going to cast Cristiano and he forfeited. Something came up. It's understandable, you know, something comes up IRL, you can't quite play anymore. But he did end up forfeiting against Aris. Otherwise, that was going to go into Eon and then go into Cham. Like, oh my god, it was going to be so good. Imagine Cristiano versus Cham. That would have been amazing. But Cristiano, unfortunately, did have to leave us. And instead, we have a different series. Here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE. We have the Chilean Terran player representing Infernales Esports. It is Crown. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have a player who I am very unfamiliar with. We are casting for the very first time here on the CranKy Ducklings, also representing Infernales Esports, and actually coming from Costa Rica. I thought Eon was like the only Costa Rican player, but no, apparently there is another. I'm shocked. It's crazy. It's insane. It's the Costa Rican Terran representing Infernales. It is KriXus. I had to think about that for a moment. KriXus? KriXus? Oh boy. This is gonna be a rough one. This is gonna be a rough TvT. But yes, we are in this TvT. I was curious as to the kind of player that was on Infernales Esports. You know, he's got to be pretty good if he was signed by them. So KriXus is here. KriXus? I'm gonna need some help with this one. And how he compares against Crown. Again, if you were watching us earlier this week, we did actually cast Crown. Was it this week or was it last week? We casted the Super Extra Latin American tournament. I think it was last week. And Crown actually got top 4. If you recall, he ended up in a TvT against Tavo in the 3rd place match. Tavo ended up taking it in the end, 2-1. But it was honestly quite close. Like, Crown honestly impressed us quite a bit. And also, you can funada me as well. I was supposed to message Smile. I was supposed to message Smile about this tournament. So, bit of a feels bad, man. I was meant to message Smile. Smile is not here, but we'll try to get him for Sentimiento Latino next week. But yeah, it's great to be back. It's exciting. I guess to catch people up, as you know, we do have our openers, and oh my god, never mind. I was about to catch people up with what was happening yesterday in World Team League, and I will get around to talking about World Team League, WTL, and Nation Wars as well. But KriXus is coming out here with a oh my god, he is not stopping the Reaper production. I thought he was going to stop at 4. He's got 3 so far, but no, he's getting another 2. He's working on another Hellion, so he's being very aggressive here. Going to have a mass amount of units and then just send it across the map. Obviously, Crown, he's playing this a little bit safer. He's going to have his Cyclone, and that's going to be like the crucial point of his defense here. Can he keep this Cyclone alive? More importantly, can KriXus dive on that Cyclone, focus it down, and with the death of that Cyclone, he can just clean everything else up and maybe get some worker kills here at the natural base. Oh boy, here we go. KriXus is going across the map. Quickly looking at the units, it is 5 Reapers and 3 Hellions here coming across. Oh, is it going to be enough? The problem is that the longer this goes on, this tank it's on its way out. Once this tank sieges up on the high ground, it's going to be so difficult to break this position to get into the mineral line. Meanwhile, no, Crown moves out with 2 of his Reapers. Uh-oh. At the same time, the Cyclone is also in the main base, so his natural is so exposed, but the tank sieges. He has to dive on top of the tank. And it looks like he will. The tank does get picked off. The repair was not fast enough. Cyclone does turn around, and so does the Banshee, so does everything else, but the Reapers get caught out. Decent pickups here by KriXus, but he needs to get more. Getting the tank is nice, but getting into that mineral line would have been nicer. Uh-oh. Meanwhile, it was a Banshee opener here for Crown. This Banshee is going to either force KriXus to just commit with his units or turn around. And in the end, he does turn around. He goes all the way back home, losing a couple of units here and there. And this is kind of okay for Crown. Again, it's a bit of a shame that he did lose 1 tank. But again, it could have been a lot worse. Crown, he's ahead in economy. He's going to be ahead in that tank count as well, because KriXus still doesn't have his first tank either. So yeah, this is still fine for Crown, and KriXus needed to deal more damage there. Feels bad, man. All these units were kind of a waste in a way, unless he's able to find some more damage as the game goes on. Like, he has kept them alive, so there is still potential, technically. Same time, Banshee decided to dip in and then dip out. Wise choice. There's a Cyclone, there's a Raven. Banshee's not really going to do too much. Thankfully for Crown, like, he didn't invest into Banshee Cloak or anything like that, so he doesn't feel as much pressure to get damage done with said Banshee, and in the end, he's just going to get a little bit of map control with it instead. So both players are going to back off and work on their third bases. I say third bases, I should say third base, because Crown is the only one who has finished up his third. KriXus, still no third in sight. And this is where I should mention, this is our first time casting KriXus. The reason for that is because he isn't your typical pro player. Like, he isn't typically, you know, a player to be here in like the top 8 of this tournament. So I guess what I'm getting at is that he is the underdog. It's on him to get damage done, and he throws away all of his Reapers. Oof. Not a good start here. I guess he was gonna try and dive in, but I mean, there were tanks, there were units in position. Like, yeah, he was kind of just, his hand was a little bit forced there. Meanwhile, the Banshee finally gets in and actually deals some damage. Earlier it was thwarted, but this time it snuck its way past the Cyclone. Eventually it may get cleaned up here with a lock gun. Never mind. Never mind, the Banshee survives. Oh my god. But yeah, it's on KriXus to make something happen. I'm also curious because they are teammates, so I have to wonder if they do practice together or not. I know some teams are closer than others. Some teams do promote practice between the players, others not so much. They kind of leave them to do what they want. So I'm curious with how familiar they are with each other. Because at least when it comes to the opener, Crown was pretty solid defensively. Was he expecting the mass Hellion Reaper from KriXus? Maybe, maybe not. Regardless, he was ready for it anyway. Meanwhile, the Banshee finally gets cleaned up, but it already paid for itself. We got, what, 4 worker kills earlier? More than really it should have, especially because of the Raven, like, Cyclone positioning. So very impressive that Crown was still able to deal some damage, and now we see KriXus moving out across the map. He's not all in. There is a third CC behind this. It's just incredibly late. Like, look at the worker count. Look at the economy of our 2 players. Crown, you can see deep in the blue here, the third base is basically fully saturated. The gases are being taken as well. KriXus still only just about to land its third. It's not even an orbital. To make up for this, like, KriXus should have a bit of a better army, but no, he doesn't have that either. To be fair, it is a TvT, so even though he has less Vikings, less tanks, and an equal amount of Ravens, he can outposition his opponent, but Crown spotted this army coming. He had that spotted Marine. He knows. Crown is the first to siege up. He's gonna be able to pick up a tank. Yeah. And KriXus cannot find a way in here. Crikey. TvT, the matchup of kings. Shaking my head. Hold on, I'm seeing the chat to see if anyone has any pronunciations. KriXus. KriXus? Sus? I mean, oh god. Among Us, mate. Oh god. Maybe I guess I could ask him himself, like, how to pronounce his name after this. We'll see how things go. Thankfully, of course, our Costa Rican Terran player didn't commit here. Of course, Crown spotted the army coming a mile away. He was already sieged up. Breaking this position would have been so difficult. I guess the other route would be to maybe try and go for a drop, but this entire time KriXus has been prioritizing his Viking production. To be fair, it makes sense, right? Like, air superiority is quite important in this matchup. He is now working on some medevacs, so it looks like he does want to try and go for some drops, and there is definitely a way in, but speaking of that way in, Crown, he's just patrolling with his own Vikings. Oh boy. Meanwhile, that's exactly what KriXus isn't doing. He's putting a lot of faith in these missile turrets, but there's only two. With two missile turrets, it's not going to be enough to really deny this drop. Meanwhile, the drop actually goes to the third base, and the army is completely out of position. The drop comes in, workers are falling left and right. KriXus turns his entire army around, and by the time it gets here, the damage has already been done. Oh my god, the Ravens! Oh, that was so close. He almost picks up one of the Ravens. Both Ravens actually both incredibly low on HP there, but KriXus does turn around just in time. He does keep them alive in the end. But Crown, he got 6 SCV kills, lost a lot of mining time, and he also forced the army to come back home. KriXus was in the middle of pushing out. He was in the middle of trying to go for his own counter-offensive, but he just couldn't really do it. He had to make a choice, and it was a hard one. Meanwhile, Crown, he's got his 4th now up and running as well. I do think that, especially because it's a mirror matchup, it does show like a little bit of a difference between these two players. But, you know, again, despite all of that, it can still come down to that one big engagement. If somehow, some way, KriXus is able to get air superiority, which I'm a little bit concerned about. He did end up losing a couple of his Vikings. He only has 3 left, and he's still pumping out medevacs. This is a little bit scary. I mean, you can make a choice to give up air superiority, right? And as a result, you're going to have a stronger ground army, and you're going to have a more mobile army, but it means in a head-on engagement, like, Crown will come out ahead. Should come out ahead. We'll see. Oh god. This Crown is moving out. Here we go. He's already got his 4th up and running. He's also got a bit of a double drop here on the left hand side as well. So, I mean, he doesn't even have to commit with this attack. He can just pull the army of KriXus over, which that's exactly what he does. The army does head on over to the right hand side of the map. At the same time, here we go. The double drop is headed towards the natural, and this is really where the damage is going to be dealt. Oh, in both places, I guess. The 4th base is cancelled, forces KriXus to siege, and at the same time, boom, we have that double drop. 1 here in the natural, 1 in the main. Crown just pulling KriXus apart, forces his buy to turn around. And as that happens, he slowly leapfrogs forward. Oh, the armory? Uh-oh. Oh god, no! KriXus, the armory gets picked off. Marines will eventually be cleaned up. Uh-oh. Meanwhile, Crown, a little bit of miscontrol here. He does leave his army idle, and 2 of his Vikings do get picked off. Oh. He's gotta be careful, actually. Another Viking. But I mean, we still got the drop going. Like, it's fine. These are acceptable losses. Like, Crown is maxed out. He's got a massive bank. He doesn't have to be the most efficient in his trades. Speaking of, now he's transitioning into Ravens. We already have Corvid Reactor on the way. Double Starport. Late game TvT. It's all about them Ravens. Maybe even BCs. Mainly Ravens, though. Oh boy. I mean, it isn't even entirely necessary. Like, if he wanted to, because he has all these Vikings, he could have gone for Liberators if he so chose. Got Liberator range as well. Meanwhile, I don't know how I feel about this. Again, like, Crown is playing a little bit risky here. He does reposition and he does pick off a couple of tanks, but he doesn't have a lot protecting these tanks. Like, a handful of Marines, a handful of Vikings, and that's kind of it. The rest of the army is at home. The buffer, the Marines are at home. That's what I'm kind of worried about. And I think KriXus may have recognized that. Yeah, it's like, mate, you got 4 tanks for free. Let me just drop here and pick them up. A couple of Marines do show up, but again, it's only a couple. Like, KriXus is going to clean this up easily. And I feel like the same can be done here, to be honest. He scans, he confirms, yo, you don't really have anything here. And he's just going to collapse on all these tanks. So these are really nice pickups here for KriXus. He loses a couple of Marines, but that's it. At the same time, here come the reinforcements. Crown is going to be able to come in and maybe pick up a base, maybe get into the natural. Does siege up. But Crown just threw away like 10 tanks. Like 10 tanks is not insignificant. Oh god, the buffer is gone. The Marines are gonna close the distance. Crown, he's throwing away even more tanks. What is this, like 16 units lost? 17, 18. The Crown just threw away 18 tanks. Oh my god. Does go for another double drop though, or another drop in the main. Oh boy. It's Crown. He's not quite throwing away his lead. Like, he still is ahead, like, by far in the economy. Like, he's been ahead for a long time, so he can afford to like trade like this. But like, it's, you know, doesn't look that great. Ay, ay, ay. Oh my god, is he gonna get the CC? Oh, he gets the CC. It's like little moves like this where it's like Crown, it's okay. It's okay to throw away 17 tanks, you know? Crown, he's just still pulling KriXus apart. KriXus? Oh god. As he's slowly taking more bases, he double expands. Strap yourselves in, everyone. It is TvT. Like, it happens. Oh god. And once again, Crown's gonna try and force his way through. Finally, we see some use of these Ravens. We've had Ravens since the start of the game, but we haven't really seen too many disables or even auto turrets. We do have a couple of disables here. Crown does trade a little bit better, just forcing his way forward a little bit. KriXus thinking about a drop. He's thinking about it. Oh god. Part of me just wants Crown to just rally across the map. Like, it's good that he's keeping his reinforcements at home in case it's a counterattack or a drop. It makes sense. But it does mean that like his pushes are that much weaker. Finally, he is moving out. At the same time, finally, KriXus is also going for a bit of a double drop. For the first time this entire game, he's going to be harassing on the other side of the map. Let's go. Oh. As he goes straight towards that third. Unfortunately, there are tanks and planetaries here, so I don't really know how much damage will really get done. As the reinforcements finally show themselves. God, that's a lot of SCVs. 41 SCVs here at the third. KriXus, he's mining out. The drops are being cleaned up. Reinforcements are enough to clean all this up. 52, actually, not 41. Oh my god. 52 SCVs at a single base. At this point, KriXus, just lift up your main and your natural and just expand towards the top left, you know? Just get do what you gotta do. But now it is KriXus's turn to just leave his tanks unsieged. Crowd moves forward. Oh god. Ugh. And I feel like over time, you know, it's in a way it's kind of death by 1,000 cuts. Like, Crown has killed so many SCVs this game, 25. He was able to kill the fourth base earlier. Now he forces the third to be lifted up. It's on fire, just continuing to deny all these bases. Crown doesn't just want to win, he wants to break the spirit of KriXus. That's really what he wants here. Oh god, as finally the tank count has been reset. In come the Marines, and there's obviously not too much here. There are a couple of tanks coming out from the main, but it's not enough. GG gets called, and Crown will take the first game. Yeah. And as he takes the first game, I want to give a bit of a shout out to Fernandok in the chat. I don't know how this happens, but sometimes, you know, every now and then, whenever Fernandok shows up, it's like, hey, Fernandok shows up, Parker Mike checked in. We've been missing Parker Mike for the past like 2, maybe 3 weeks. He's just been gone. He's been MIA. We don't know where he's been. But this week, Parker Mike is here. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. I don't think this scene is set up for the bracket. Hold on, give me a moment. That was our last tournament. Boom. Here we go. It's a pretty big bracket. It's pretty massive. I was a little bit intimidated by it at the start of the night. It's pretty huge. But Pocket Mike is somewhere in there. Pocket Mike is towards the middle of the brackets. Honestly, I feel like we're going to get like Pocket Mike versus Davo in the quarterfinals. And we may have Pocket Mike in the semis, which means we'll be able to cast him. It's been so long. It's been so long since we have had the pleasure of casting him. Ah. So hopefully we get a little bit of Pocket later on. Meanwhile, outside of Pocket Mike, who else is here? When it comes to the big names, Jim Rising is here. I think he was oh, hold on. Switch players. I'm not playing. Put me in the referee or give me spectator. Not playing. Please. Crowd, please. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. Beautiful, beautiful. We can now start. But we got Pocket Mike. Jim Rising has been missing for the past couple of weeks, but that's because I think he's been casting or hosting League of Legends tournaments. So Jim Rising's been busy. No, actually, last week he went to the beach. He had like a little mini holiday with his missus, and he went to the beach. So now he's back. Zion's is back. Davo, White Idra, Ryu is waiting for the winner of this series. Hype. Yang G is here, and again, of course, Cham, El Chamaco, is waiting down there as well. Oof. But enough about that, because here we are still in our first series of the night, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have our Chilean Terran player representing Infernales Esports. It is Crown. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have his teammate, another Terran player, also representing Infernales Esports, but this one is from Costa Rica. It is KriXus. KriXus? KriXus? God. Ay. Alright, here we go. This is where things get even more confusing because, of course, he's Latin American, so he actually pronounces this differently as well. We'll figure it out. But honestly, game one was pretty straightforward. It was kind of a rough start here for our Costa Rican player. Like, he did open up very aggressively with his 5 Reaper 3 Hellion push that needed to deal damage more than it did. He got a tank and that's it. He didn't get any workers. He delayed his own CC to make that push happen. So he kind of put himself behind in a way. I say himself behind, it was a risk that he took. He was hoping that maybe Crown was being a little bit more greedy with his opener. So KriXus did end up behind, and then his third was late. Because his third was late, that compounded into his fourth being late, or never really establishing a fourth base, to be honest. So yeah, it was kind of like a house of cards crumbling here. And Crown, honestly, pretty solid TvT. There were moments where he did, kind of expose his own tanks in a way. But like, because of his economy, it didn't really matter. But in a closer game, in a game where KriXus is able to establish a faster third and a faster fourth, then mistakes like that can cost Crown. So he's got to be careful. Got to respect his opponent. Chile may not go to the Football World Cup, but we have a shot now in Copa Hyperion. True. Oh, God. Welcome, Chileno Singaporean. I know there's a lot of Chilean fans in the chat. Again, exclamation mark Funada Cristiano. We were going to cast Cristiano today, but alas, he did not. Well, he had to forfeit in the end. He did not play. I would have loved to have seen him against Eon and Cham. Maybe next time. Again, especially because Cristiano has been on fire recently. Speaking of being on fire, that's exactly what these Reapers are. One Reaper already gets picked off here. Beautifully done here by KriXus. He's actually going for a very similar opener as he did last game, where he's going for just mass Reapers and Hellions, but this time he's delaying his CC even further, and he's actually going for a medevac. So gonna go for a bit of a, I imagine, a Hellion drop maybe. This is a little bit scary because Crown, he got very limited scouting information. When he went across the map with his Reapers, he actually didn't check the natural base first. He tried to go straight into the main, and he was immediately forced back. Oh boy, but he himself is is also playing it safe. He already has a Widowmine here on the front line, so if a Hellion or a Reaper does show up, immediately they're going to get a Widowmine shot to the face, and at the same time, he's also going... we have almost mirrored builds here. Almost, because KriXus is on one base, and Crown already has his natural. Oh boy, here we go. KriXus with 6 Reapers this time, coming across the map. Medevac not too far behind, so we can elevator into the main base. And this may be lined up to the point where Crown may move out with his own army. Boy, oh boy, here we go. Everything goes into the main. Crown is still here in the natural, and he does notice, and he does respond. Again, the Widowmine is not going to be a part of this in this engagement, in this defense at all. A little bit of mismicro accidentally targeting his own building. Uh-oh. And KriXus does have the numbers advantage here. A couple of those Reaper grenades do get thrown down, and it looks like maybe with the help of the reinforcements, Crown is going to have enough. Oh my god, even some medevac micro styling on his opponent. And Crown defends. He lost, what, 2 workers? Yeah, 2 workers. Oh no, the Rimba. 2 workers, that's it. Oh my god. And what's scary is that soon Crown, yeah, he's gonna go for a counterattack. Uh-oh. We do have a Banshee that's about to rock up, but even though there's no anti-air, there is a Cyclone on the way. Cyclone needs a little bit more time, so that Banshee has to hit ASAP. Meanwhile, Reaper dropping the natural. Another 2 workers. The worker count is actually slowly climbing here when it comes to how many workers have been lost. Not bad. It's adding up. Cyclone is here. The Sim City and the cloak. There is no detection. KriXus, finally, he's getting the damage that he wanted. There's no mining. There's 0 mining going on right now for Crown. Crown, puppy, please. Finally, he reclaims control of his natural. Oh god, the Raven's on the way. Do we have a scan, puppy? Do we have a scan? We do not have a scan. He's been muling. Oh god. And I'm a little bit worried. Like, this damage has been great. It's been beautiful. Like, all in all, 9 workers have gone down. 3rd CC is delayed. Eventually this will be cleaned up. Like, this is nice damage. I am scared though. Crown did have a faster natural, and because of that, like, the worker counts are even. Like, despite all of this damage, the worker counts are even. And now it's Crown's turn to go across the map. Like, he's been wanting to go for this drop for a long time now. Now he has his own drop. He has his own Banshee. I'm really worried here for KriXus. It is crucial that he defends this, taking minimal losses. Oh, another Banshee. We do have a scan. Don't want to use it prematurely. There we go. Finally, we do have that scan. We have the lock on. Isn't enough to take it out. Oh, the drop actually turns around. Okay. I'm not too sure how I feel about this. Meanwhile, the Banshee turned around as well. Was that an all-army hotkey? I don't think it was, because Crown did intentionally try to intercept. But everything did come back home. Oh, so KriXus, he does it. He doesn't take any losses. Let's go. The 3rd base once again is late. Not too late though. Thankfully, he was able to delay the CC of Crown, so it kind of evens things up a little bit more. Thankfully, and we are gonna have a closer game. Let's go. Oh. I need to catch my breath here. There's been so much going on. But once again, it is going to be Biotank versus Biotank. Thankfully, no one here is going mech. No one is Tavo Enjoyer or Smile or you know, any of the Peruvian Terrans. Here in Chile, we don't play mech. I approve. I approve of this. But we do go for drops as Crown does finally go for his counterattack. It was incredibly delayed, but because of that, it was unexpected. KriXus was in the middle of moving out. This timing is so unfortunate for him. And he's not turning around. He is committed. Uh-oh. Quickly looking here, we have one tank in the defense for Crown. We're about to have a second. We do have those Ravens, though. So this is KriXus can break this position. Again, with his Raven, he can disable, and he goes for it. We have our first disable. We have another tank behind this. Auto turrets are being thrown down left and right. And it may just barely be enough. The Vikings are even landed, and Crown, he's going to be able to break through and get on top of some of these tanks. Not all of them, though. Only 2 left, but there's no more buffer. KriXus doesn't find his way in, and as all this was happening, the Banshee has been going to town. 22 SCVs. How? 22 SCVs. The drop and the Banshee combined. Ay, ay, ay. KriXus, like us, like the viewers, like the observer, like me, we were hyper focused on this engagement, and I assumed that his reinforcements would be able to clean everything up at home, but it wasn't the case. Crown's Banshee didn't even have cloak. And he defends beautifully, he counterattacks beautifully, takes his 3rd base, and he doesn't really have an army to counterattack across the map. But again, like he's just in a phenomenal position. Oh god, like, Crown is looking so good right now. Jesus, that Banshee was insane. And how do we get back into this if you're KriXus? I mean, I was about to say maybe drops, you know, before the sensor towers get up, but as I say that, the sensor tower gets up. So it's gonna be that much harder to really continue going for drops. Your tank count was reset, so you're gonna be behind in tanks as well. You lost your air superiority. He's actually not even going for Vikings. He's making medevacs instead. KriXus is in a really rough position. And this is like the rough part about TvT, because if you're in this position, like, you're incentivized to just turtle, right? Like, and obviously you have the defender's advantage with tanks, so I feel like KriXus may just chill at home and just work on his tank out, work on his army. And we may have a repeat of the last game, game 1. But before that happens, Crown, he goes for another drop here into the natural base. There's nothing to defend this natural. Oh god, because we only have 1 tank here for KriXus, he's being spread too thin. He just can't keep up. Same time, we have a bit of a scan here. Oh, can Crown really get much done? He does have the upgrade advantage, just barely with the bio. So he will trade a little bit here with KriXus. Oh god, I forgot that the Terran apologist was in the chat. Exclamation mark for Nada Asher, bro. Shaking my head, shaking my head. Oh god. A fun fact though, if you are like Asher, bro, and if you are an awful Terran apologist, Darking is going to be coming on later on. It's been a long time since I've casted with Darking. He has been busy with work, but for the semifinals, I will be dragging him on, so we will be able to cast together again. I miss my padrino. Oh, not like this, not like this. We have a double drop head towards the main. No! Oh! It was just completely shut down. Oh, the bait was real. Forces the boost over the Widowmine. Not like this. I mean, it's understandable, right? Like, KriXus needs to do something to get back into this game. I was saying that he may just be forced to turtle, but no, he doesn't want to, right? He's been investing in all these medevacs. He wants to go for all these drops. So I don't blame him at all for going for them, but they're just not working out for him. Like, Crown is just so well set up defensively. Oof. Planetary is about to finish. Like, this drop will be cleaned up. Gets a handful of SCVs, which is something. Even gets a missile turret, but immediately the missile turret gets remade. And this is going to be the game-winning push here. Crown, he is finally maxed out. Pushing out across the map. He has vision here of both potential fourth bases if KriXus ever attempts to take one. He is trying to, by the way. He scans, confirms the army. Hey, I see an opening here. I see only one tank. Siege of the CC, no! CC goes down. Even have it disabled, so there's only one tank protecting this area. And speaking of, we see another drop into the main. Missile turrets are done. And they may take out one drop. Oh, not even. Up. Okay, they do take out one drop. There is a tank in the main. This time, KriXus is ready. But he's stuck on 3 bases. Oh, God. And I feel like the production tab tells it all. There's we have an unfortunate supply block. KriXus hasn't realized these supply blocks, so we have nothing in production here. No upgrades. Ugh. Hopefully he notices soon, puppy. Notice soon, puppy. Call down some supply depots if you have to. Okay. I was like, if this guy boosts on top of the army, I'm gonna lose it. No, okay. He's going for a drop across the map. Makes sense, makes sense. Unfortunately, again, Crown doesn't rally across the map, so he does have an army at home to defend, if need be. It's not really forcing the issue. He doesn't have to. Once again, just like the last game, as he loses, almost loses a Raven. We have Corvid reactors. We have double starport. Drop runs into an army. Does get thwarted. Almost loses that medevac. Almost. Jesus Christ. And I don't really know if Crown can ever really push in here. I mean, I'm sure he can. I don't know if he wants to, though. He's just going to be chilling until his upgrades finish up. I've noticed that he isn't really one to go for Liberators, unfortunately, despite having that air superiority. So without Liberators and without Ravens, it is really difficult to break these entrenched positions, despite having such a big advantage. So exclamation mark for not a Crown for that. Like if you, like just saying, if you wanted to, it would help him out a little bit. Oh. Despite having 2-2, it's not enough to break this anyway. KriXus takes a small win here on the right-hand side of the map. Not bad, not bad. Take what you can get, mate. Go for it. Take out these tanks. There's no anti-air. No, never mind. I was about to say there's no anti-air, but do have a couple of Vikings. We're just standing off. At least KriXus has finally broken free of his supply block. Oh, and he's taking a fourth. Crown. He's not here to see it. He's not here to stop it either. The comeback. The start of a comeback. It's just a long way to go, right? Like 3-3 is already done here for Crown. He can focus on his vehicle upgrades. We do have 2 Ravens being produced at a time. The Venn diagrams are real. And outside of obviously drops aren't going to work because of so many missile turrets. I'm just trying to think how KriXus can get back into this, other than Crown having just an awful engagement. Like we've seen before, Crown has like left his tanks like unattended and things like that. That's really what KriXus has to hope for. Meanwhile, it's a little bit too late. The Ravens have finally shown up. We have the anti-armor missile. We have the disables as well, and Crown finally forces his way in. He gets on top of all these tanks. There's nothing left to protect them, especially because there was a drop across the map, and GG gets called. Crown takes the series 2-0. There's a copy faster. Hold on. I need to do it. Beautiful. I love it. But GG, well played. Congratulations, Crown, as he does take down his teammate, his Costa Rican opponent, and he will be able to move on against Ryu in a TvZ. Ah, beautiful. It's exactly what we wanted. going to be getting into our boy. Meanwhile, the bracket has actually been progressing incredibly quickly. I'm shocked. I guess I shouldn't be shocked as I look over at how long that game was. That was a 20-minute game. That was like a 40-minute series. Jesus Christ, TvTs. It was an hour-long series. But as we just finished up our first series, like the rest of the tournament has been progressing. Jim Rising is up against Zions. It's a pretty juicy ZVP. We've got Parker Mike against Tavo, PvT. Oh no. No, Ryu. Papi, ¿por qué? Oh my god. And I was gonna talk about how we basically have all of our matches, all of round 1 done. And I was gonna talk about Crown versus Ryu, but I did just get word that it's not just Cristiano who's forfeiting, but it looks like something came up for Ryu as well. So Ryu did have to forfeit against Crown. Crown gets the walkover, and Crown is going to be going up against Master. I wanted my TvZ. Oh god. Okay. Well, we're already in round 3, just like that. Let's go. It's a bit of a shame. Ryu was last week's Sentimiento Latino champion. And the week before that in Copa Hyperion, he was the finalist as well. So I hope everything's okay for Ryu. Hope everything's okay. Hope it wasn't anything serious. Yeah, Ryu just messaged me. Said, hey, Light, today I will not play in the tournament. I realize that soon daylight savings will change and I can't mess up my sleep schedule anymore. Sorry. It's like, oh, it's okay, it's okay. For those wondering, Ryu lives in Italy, and to play in these online tournaments, specifically the Latin American tournaments, he usually stays up until 4 or 5 a.m. Like, he absolutely brutalizes his sleep schedule. And it's gonna get even worse with daylight savings. So because of that, and bearing in mind that it's not like Ryu plays StarCraft full time. He does, he is in university. He does do his studies. He's, of course, just like all the Latin American players, he's in med school. Shaking my head. But yeah, because of that, he will not. This may mean that he won't be playing in these weekly tournaments anymore. Obviously, he's still going to be a part of DreamHack, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Maybe just Sentimientos. I don't know. But a bit of a feels bad, man. I hope Ryu's able to take care, and it's understandable. Again, playing from Europe at these hours is honestly really difficult. So he will be bowing out.